Hello and welcome to Reinfused. Today we're looking at something a little bit different. If you saw the unboxing we did a little while ago, one box was particularly full of Sinclair Spectrum stuff, including not just the machine and some games, but also some magazines. And it's one of those that I want to look at. So it's this Sinclair User, which is, I guess, one of the big free magazines. Well, when I was a kid, anyway. This is at this point it's still a little bit boring and businessy. But between this, Your Sinclair and Crash, these were kind of the magazines that you would generally read one of. A bit of a magazine war in the playground between them. But yeah, this one is particularly important because this one is the February 1984 edition. And this is the year that I first got a Sinclair Spectrum. Now, I was 9 years old and my family were not particularly well off, so this was a hell of an investment for them to buy this machine for me. So you kind of don't realise at the time when you're young, but now you do work out that it was quite a lot of money for them. So yeah, so this is quite important. New Sinclair computer launch. I assume that's the QL. Yeah. Oh, there's an advert for Kempston joystick interface. Dodgy robot in the corner. Kind of looks like a really bad knockoff of Rob. Hello, Shaking Stevens. You know, there's Shaking Stevens, which you might not. He was a kind of Elvis light for the UK. We're having an article about. Oh, right, it's okay. So the article is basically drawing comparisons between rock and roll programmers and the problem with illegal copying. Fair enough, I understand that. The Rotronics portable case. So basically, a briefcase that will hold a Sinclair Spectrum. There's the thermal printer that Sinclair released, and also a tape recorder. And it seems to suggest that they're using it in there, but I don't see where the wires would go, unless maybe the wires are going underneath that cheap red stuff. Very strange. That kind of fits in with what Sinclair originally wanted the Spectrum to be, which was a kind of learning and business tool rather than games. Oh, here we go. So, surprise launch for new Sinclair computer. Yeah. There's an X83. Yeah, that was indeed what it was originally going to be called. Machine has a twin micro drives for fast access to mass storage when they hadn't erased or corrupted the data. It has been specially designed to Sinclair requirements and is being manufactured by American electronics company Motorola. Kind of true. Substantially lower than computers such as the Apple II, which costs thousands of pounds. The cost of the Sinclair is as little as £400, which is both an unfair comparison and fairly true. The Apple II was a popular machine at this point, but it really wasn't what Sinclair was aiming this at. Sinclair was aiming this at the rise of the IBMs, and they were substantially more powerful. But yeah, the QL probably wasn't far off the Apple II in terms of power. Well, interesting. Oh, right here. So, okay. Now I understand the Shaking Stevens comparison. Apparently, fans of Shaking Stevens who buy his latest album, The Bot Won't Stop, on cassette can enjoy the bonus of a specially commissioned game for the ZX Spectrum. So was that on the other side? I don't think I knew that. That's interesting. Oh, Interface 2 cartridge. Right, so the Interface 2 is an interesting piece of kit. It basically adds, a couple of other things, but it adds a ROM cartridge to the back of the Spectrum. Now, not many games were released, but it's interesting. Yeah. When the ROM board was launched, the only cartridge available were Planetoid, Space Raiders, and Backgammon, which had previously been sold on cassette. Yeah, there weren't that many other games. Right. Floppy disks challenged the microdrive. It wasn't much of a challenge, to be honest. They were vastly superior to the microdrive. Oh, the letters page. I kind of missed the old-fashioned letters page you used to get in magazines. Although Digitizer, the YouTube channel now, well, used to be Digitizer on Teletext, but anyway, it's the YouTube channel now. They've kind of almost taken that back where you can send in readers' letters, but it's just not quite the same as it used to be. Oh my word, the Quill. So the Quill was basically an adventure game writer, so you could just write your own adventure game using fairly simplistic object-based stuff. It was quite good. it's a bit misleading saying write your own machine code adventures, whilst yes, the quill was written in machine code, and so technically what you wrote was written in machine code. You did have to just kind of do fairly simple stuff to get it working. There's lots of game adverts, but there's not many articles. Oh, so win a robot. Okay. Oh, so it kind of works like the turtle. So if you didn't know, right, a turtle was a thing that a lot of educational users used. It was usually connected to the BBC Micro, but basically it was a small remote controlled car thing which could draw on paper, and you would write programs in Logo and send it to it, and it would do what you told it to do. So it's kind of like that. So you can use it infrared, I guess, using an interface on the Spectrum. Very interesting. I'm pretty sure I haven't heard of that either. I bet you can't find them now. That's going to be interesting to look for. Oh, have to say, I did not realise Horace came out on the Commodore 64. That seems almost sacrilegious. I might have to look that up and take a look at it. Melbourne House did a lot of very good games. The Hobbit was a particularly good game. Oh yeah, the DK-Tronics add-ons. DK-Tronics did a lot of add-ons for the Spectrum, and this is a whole, basically, conversion kit to give it a more PC-style keyboard, which is certainly not a bad idea. Oh, look at that. So this is something that we used to get quite a lot in magazines and books of this era, are type-ins that just do silly little things, or sometimes full games. There was a whole game called Pixie the Microdot, which was basically machine code. It was all data lines mostly, and I typed it in. It was a lot of pages. Typed it in, I think I got one data line wrong, so there was something very odd on one of the levels, but it was good still. This is kind of the thing that, in the spirit of this, that the Raspberry Pi Foundation are trying to get back to, with kids just playing with computers, because this really did kickstart the games industry. Certainly in the UK, and you'd have to argue in the world, because the UK games industry really did make a template for the rest of the world. All right, that's it. Quite a dry magazine compared to what it would eventually become when, let's say, when it was competing with your Sinclair and Crash. But it's interesting. It's odd to look back on this stuff. I mean, I would never have had this magazine when I was a kid, because it's, well, look at it. You don't buy that if you're a kid. But it's interesting to see. Right. Well, this was just a relatively short one. Hopefully by the time I cut it, it'll be short. It wasn't meant to be long. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please hit like. If you really like the video, please hit subscribe. If you didn't like the video, you have something else to say, then please leave it in the comments below. See you next time.